When it comes to people who have disabilities, they've come out to these ethics committee meetings and they've spoken out about their needs. They've been clear. People who have low vision have talked about the fact that they want to be able to vote independently. And the way that you vote independently if you have low vision is that you use technology. The current machines that we have do not support them, so they've had to bring their phones in that have readers on them so that they could vote independently, secretly, like those of us who can see get to do. But this bill continues, despite their clear pleas about this, continues to criminalize the use of a phone inside of the voter ballot box. Furthermore, people living with disabilities made it clear that they liked the voting absentee drop boxes, not because they're fun, but because it's easier for someone who has a disability to simply roll down the window in their car and put it in the box, as opposed to having to unload from their vehicle, go inside of a building and navigate a place and a space that will not be easy for them to navigate. They named out loud, we love these boxes, it helps us. And yet this body has ignored those pleas. Furthermore, mobile voting sites, those roller voter polls that we have. Those polls historically have been used during early voting, and they have gone to places where people who have limited mobility and limited access to transit, where they can go and they can vote. Oftentimes those places have been parked outside of senior citizens' homes where we have people who we know can't get around as well. And yet this bill, once again, ignores the pleas and the calls of people with disabilities and says you can't use them except on election day. No more going to the places with the highest need. And then there's this final point that I, as a Southerner, and as a pastor, and as someone who cares for my neighbor, just cannot understand. We have made it illegal for someone to pass out some food to someone who is standing in line. Now, I know you're going to tell me, no, you just have to be 150 feet away. But the way that the bill reads, it says that you cannot give water or food or anything else, a poncho, an umbrella because it's raining. You can't give anything to anyone as long as you are within 25 feet of the line. So if the line goes beyond the 150 feet, you still have to be 25 feet away from the line, which means if I'm standing in line waiting to vote, and it's a long line, and I'm feeling a little faint, feeling a little hot, need a little nourishment because I've been in line for a long time. What it means is that the kind person who's been standing out there, who's got all the provisions that I need, they can't walk up to me and give it to me, even if I'm 150 feet away, because I'm still in line. So the person who is already feeling a little weak, oh, y'all, I'm preaching now. The person who is already feeling a little faint has to leave the line, go 25 feet or more beyond that line in order to just get a little nourishment, in order to just get a poncho to get out of the rain. To me, that is the most inhospitable thing that we could possibly do. It's to deny water, deny an extra chair to someone while they're sitting in a long line in the Georgia heat or in the midst of a downpour. This bill, we can talk about all of the ways that legally it's problematic, but I want to be clear that this bill has ignored the pleas and the needs of those who are living with disabilities in this community. They've come, they've been clear, they've named what they need, and you've ignored it. And this bill disenfranchises those who are already struggling the most. The poorest of the poor, the people who couldn't even afford a $5 ID. You've given them this other little plastic card, and because you simply wouldn't add another code section to include those IDs, you've now rendered their IDs null and void. Georgians, we can do better. we owe it to people who are already struggling to do all we can to make voting easier for them and never harder. And with that, I yield the well.